Something strange about my misophonia is the fact that I can't make my own trigger noises intentionally. Now, there are trigger noises that I make unintentionally. For example, one of my biggest trigger noises right now is just the sound of the crackling of my throat whenever it's either dry or it's early in the morning. And even with my mouth fully closed, I can still hear every single crackle and pop that it makes, and it still goes up to my ears and it triggers me. But there are other more involved triggers that I just physically can't make. I can't force myself to eat with my mouth open. I can't force myself to suck my teeth and open my mouth while there's a vacuum in there. I just can't do it. No, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor, I don't know why this is, but I suspect it's something like my brain feels that this is a danger signal and thus it doesn't want to make it unless there's danger around. But then again, even when I'm surrounded by my own triggers, I can't make the triggers myself. So I just don't know why. Maybe it's a self-preservation thing, honestly. But it does kind of make things a little complicated when people ask what my triggers are. For example, people will ask, like, what's a trigger? And then I say, well, it's kind of just generally all kind of mouth sounds, sucking teeth, all that stuff. And then they might ask, can you give me an example? Now, I understand people don't say this in a mean or unintentionally rude way. It is still kind of messed up because basically you're asking the person to trigger themselves. If they don't have someone with them that knows the trigger that can do it for them, as an example, and even then, just knowing someone is making the trigger can sometimes be just as bad as hearing the trigger itself. You're basically asking someone to trigger themselves for you, and that's not good. But if it's someone like me who can't physically make their own trigger noises, they have to go out of their way to try and find an example of it, whether it's on the internet or on YouTube or wherever. And that's a very involved process that just ends up in pain. So yeah, it's just a weird aspect of my disorder, and mine specifically, because I know everyone's might be different and some people are able to make their own trigger noises, but for me, for some reason, my brain just won't let me make them intentionally. Like, subscribe, follow for more, and have a beautiful day.